Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Daryl. Most people call me Chief. I appreciate you stopping in. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is my third video now. I thought I would show you what's in my bag, but I want to take it one step further. A lot of you had talked about how y'all just started as well about the same time I did, which was back in May of this year. So we're looking at about 6 or 7 weeks. And a lot of got a few comments on what's in my bag. So I thought I'd take it a little bit further and say, instead of what's in my bag right now, I would take it back to how it all got started in that first week, second week, and how I progressed through the disc and how I progressed through the bags. Now, I'll be the first one to say that I am not an expert at this, and how I throw right now as a beginner, I'm sure somebody 6 months or a year or even 2 or 10 years throws a lot better than I do, has more form than I do. I can show you what worked for me being a new disc golfer and not having the form. I'll show you a little bit of what helped me out and which ones didn't go well. Doesn't mean they won't go well for you, but the way I throw and how I learn, they just don't go well for me. I'm sure I can grow into them. It's what a lot of people who have experience say. You'll grow into it. So it's all about learning the disc. Now, I don't get too caught up in numbers. I do have an idea of the numbers and understand the numbers. I understand that as a beginner, you're better off understable. So a lot of my discs are understable, and I can tell the ones that aren't because they pretty much go straight to the ground on hyzer. So I will go over some of the discs that I started out with. So back on May 25th, my son and I'd been watching YouTube videos for about a week or two and really started getting interested in disc golf. I thought, man, that'd be fun to play. So we decided that next day to go to the store. So I went, and the people there were very helpful. They talked about, understable, which I already kind of had a little bit of an idea, even though I wasn't watching exactly what YouTube on exactly what disc to buy. It was more of just watching people play and how fun it looked. These are the 3 discs that I originally bought. For my putter, I got a Deputy. I like this putter, but I didn't know anything about it. I got it out of the used bin. I don't remember paying $14.99. I think it's an old sticker. I think I paid like $8 for it. And then I got a Buzz because they said, oh, you have to have a Buzz. You have to have a Buzz. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But I got a Buzz for my mid-range. And then even though this is a 9, it's lightweight. It's a jade. It's kind of worn out. It's kind of hard to see. Matter of fact, on the tag on the back, I had to write the numbers. It's a 96-21. I was trying to remember the Buzz. I think it's 550.5. I don't remember that. I'll try to write the numbers down on the, and then of course the Deputy is a understable putter. It's got a speed of 3, a glide of 4, a turn of -1.5, and a fade of 0. So I played with these for about a week. Matter of fact, that day, right after I bought them, I spent about, like I said, $34. So I kind of keep track, show you kind of how much money I've spent over the less than 2 months. I went out in the field, and I think I've got the jade to about 60 feet, just playing for about 10 minutes next to the store. So it was a lot of fun. Now this Buzz, man, at the time I didn't know it, but now I know that it's straight hyzer, just hyzer flip and went straight to the ground on me. And then the putter's a putter. The cool thing about this Deputy, the glide's a 4, and it definitely glides. So, but when I first got it, I didn't know anything on it. So I played around with these and practiced with these for about a week or so. And then the next time I decided to go to the store the following Saturday. So 1 week later, get some more disc here. So I'd done a little bit of research and knew that I wanted to get more understable. Now, I still wasn't real sure, but also I knew I wanted a different putter because I like the Deputy, but it just didn't have much feel in my hands. So I went to the store, and this time I spent about $100. So I'm about $134, $135 in right now. Not saying you have to spend that, but one thing I did get was they had a deal where if you buy 4 used discs, you get 2 free. So 4 used discs was about $40. But 3 of the discs that I had written down that I wanted to buy, I had to pay basically full price, and I'll show you which ones. The It, I liked it. It's a 7.6 -2.1. It's a good disc. I don't know if I would say beginners. It was a good disc for me in the beginning until I beat it in, and then now this thing does not fly anything like the numbers. And then I bought a Paradox. And the Paradox is a 5.4 -4.0, so it's a mid-range. Really, really fun disc. I really enjoy this one, and it's amazing for the numbers. Now I see why they say beginners ought to go more understable, because even though it's a 5.4 -4.0, this thing, for the first couple of weeks I threw it, flew straight. I couldn't throw this thing wrong. I couldn't throw it with a turn at all. It would just flat. It wouldn't even fade or turn much. It would just, and lands. And I do like the glide, and I like how soft this one lands. It's really nice. It doesn't skip a lot, so that's really good. But now, man, this thing will either be straight and have a little bit of turn or a little bit of fade at the end, or this thing goes straight turn. I mean, it'll just and just keep going. So that lets me know, I assume, that my form's getting a little bit better. But the Paradox was one that I paid full price for. Great disc. This one I think is just the, this is a neutron plastic. I thought it was a proton, but it's a neutron. I really like the neutron plastic feel. Sorry about the cicadas, they're pretty loud out here. Then I got this for the first couple of weeks. Man, this disc made a huge difference. This is an Underworld by Westside Disc, and it's a 7.6 -3.1. So you got a -3 turn and a 1 fade. And the first couple of weeks I threw this, it was dead straight. Matter of fact, I wasn't even getting any fade on it, man. It would just, and I can't really say it would flip up flat, right? Because I was trying to throw it as flat as I could, and it would stay flat. After a couple of weeks, it's kind of like the Paradox. It started wanting to turn more, so I put it a little bit on a hyzer, or as much as I knew as a beginner to put it on a hyzer. Sorry, the train. Sorry, I'm sitting out in my front yard. It looks like I'm in the middle of a disc golf spot with a house behind me, but no, this is actually my front yard. I'm pretty fortunate. I live on a pretty good sized acreage, and one day I'll have to show you, if I'm standing in the field next to us, I can throw, and if I put my basket out here in the middle, I got all these trees that I can work in, fades and turns and all that other stuff. It's really cool, but I had to be careful because don't want to hit my son's car or my truck. Where was I? Oh, but this, man, it feels good. It's a premium plastic. Yeah, again, this was that second Saturday I went and bought disc, and like I said, this was part of that $100 deal. Guess I ought to be careful showing my phone number. Favorite long distance disc at the time. Probably still pretty rivals anything I got. I tried to stay at 7. Now I know the Jade's at a 9, but I tried to stay in that 9 or below. I really tried to stay in the 7 speed until I really started getting my form in. Man, love this disc. It's fly. The one thing is I didn't realize, but I want to say, and I don't have my glasses on, but I want to say this is like a 164, I think. So it's one of my lighter discs. Same way with the Jade. I actually think the Jade is 157, and that might be why it gets a little, doesn't really get flippy on me, but it's just hard to control sometimes. So I got that one, and then I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to get this Sensei putter. I hear people talking about Sensei all the time, and I don't know if it's just the glow or what. This is a really cool putter, but I've done more throwing with it just to get used to the practice of throwing a putter and letting it glide. I don't know what the numbers are on a, I apologize. I'll try to put them down in the bottom of the video, but really nice Sensei putter. I think the difference is I got the glow. It's a little bit chunky to me, a little bit heavy. Later on, as we got into 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and I got my basket for Father's Day, I started practicing with this putter, and man, it was just too clunky for me. I couldn't get the smooth release. I could probably do a little better now, but I haven't used it. This is just something I throw in the bag just to practice here and there. And then I got some used discs. Origin, it's more of a practice disc for me. I can't really get the consistent good flights on it. I don't know what the numbers are on it. It's a mid-range. The Mako 3, if it wasn't for the buzz, I would probably put this in my bag because it works real good for going around trees or something. If I'm out in the fairway and I'm trying to do an approach shot or something, I'll use the Mako 3 for a nice soft, which is really ironic. It's a 5500, so it should be a pretty neutral disc. I love the glide on it, so I can really just kind of lay it out there, do a small hyzer on it, and it's real soft on the land. But for me, it's not 0-0. This thing always fades on me, no matter how I throw it. I've tried to throw it hyzer and get it to flip up flat and see if it'd go flat, but it always fades off. Sometimes I've hyzered it to the point where it never turns up. It just keeps right on going. So Mako 3, and then I got this relay. These are all out of the used bin. I think I got one or two other used ones, but they're up on top of that building over there. I kind of grip locked a few of them one day and chunked them up on the desk, trying to get used to that, where they talk about snap, where you practice getting that snap. Yeah, I grip locked a couple of them, threw them up on top of that building. They'll come get them a couple of times a year. They do, the fire station's just right next door. They'll do ladder practice, and I told them my discs are up there, and they'll grab the disc for me. But I got this relay, this 6.5 -2-1, and this was out of the used bin as well. It's only a 166, and I don't know if it's because it's lighter weight, but man, this thing is straight hyzer on me. It just straight fades. I can't get it to flip up, and it just straight fades. I've tried everything I could to get it to turn up and ride flat, and then no, this thing just straight fade. So I've even thrown it on Annie, and it works on Anheuser. I can get an Anheuser on it, and it'll start out, it'll roll, and then it just goes right back into a fade. So I don't know if I'm sold on this Vision yet, or if being that this was just a used disc, it's just already beat in and it's not what I'm used to. So that was my trip. So I got all those in practice. So kind of step back one step. This is the bag I started out with. So this is what carried my 3 discs, these first 3 that I talked about. So it was free. So this bag, so I have no money in my bags. This bag was free. I found the backpack in the closet. I see why they don't use backpacks though, because it works because it's free. It's great because it's free. But when you put your disc in there, it's hard to get them out, especially if you get more than 3 in there. Everything just kind of folds up and it kind of moves around. It goes flat. It's just hard to dig out, and you can't see what disc you want. But it worked great for a little bit. So my son wound up for Father's Day. One son got me a basket to practice my putting, and one son got me this little, they call it a nutsack. I'm not making it up. It's called a nutsack. It's a really neat little bag. It holds 7 to 8 discs, which is the disc I'm fixing to talk about. But I decided, I ran into a guy when I was out playing around at one of the courses out here locally, and he was actually out mowing, and he invited me over to the golf club the next day, and so I went and played. Well, luckily, the first time ever I used this was at a doubles tournament. And the neat thing about this, having a bag like this, is you don't get caught up in 10, 15, 20 discs. Oh, what should I learn? Should I throw this or that? So since I was throwing basically every day, I had pretty much gotten used to about 6 or 7 discs, which is about what this holds. So I usually put my 2 putters in the front here, and then I had about 5 or 6 discs of a certain assortment, and it worked out great. The only thing I don't like about this bag is there's no place to put any water. You know, when you're playing in Texas in the summer, you need water. The cool thing is like on the doubles tournament, when I first used this bag, and I still use this bag. Matter of fact, I used it a couple of days ago. We went out to Gateway Park and we used it through the trees and everything. It works out great. because it keeps me down with a certain selection. I don't get all caught up in, and like I said, trying to decide, oh, I got 30 discs. What should I use? What should I do? No, excuse me. I have discs that I'm used to. I have discs that I've practiced with out in the field, and discs that I've practiced around here, and those are the ones I use. But this is a nutsack. Now, this was given to me as a gift. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I'll have to look it up. But these things aren't cheap. I'm sure there's cheaper versions. I'm sure there's Amazon versions. But if you want a canvas bag like the actual nutsack, I can't remember, but I would be surprised if it's $150 to $200 and maybe even more. But it's a really nice bag. But fortunately, it was a gift. But it works out great. And the reason why I show you this is because now I'm getting into some of the stuff of what I carry in it. So, my third store visit, since I hadn't quite gotten the basket yet, and I knew I was getting some baskets, or a basket to putt with, I needed putters. So my wife and my youngest son and my grandkids were with me, and we went to a store over in the North Dallas area, and they had a big, huge U section. And I happened to find, I just couldn't believe it, I happened to find one of the pixels in the U section. And then I picked up, and I don't have the used one right here in front of me. I do in one of the bags. So it's over there. So I picked up 2 brand new pixels, and I think they were $14.99. And then I picked up brand new ones, and then I picked up 1 used one. So I bought 3 pixel putters. Man, love these. These are the Electron soft plastic. Man, I see what they mean though. You're probably gonna have to replace one and get on a cycle to replace for me maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, because I'm putting so much. I'm trying to putt at least 100 putts a night, and most of the time it's 200 putts a night. Not saying I'm getting any better, but I'm putting a lot. So I got the pixels. And then I happened to find, remember I told you about the Underworld with a premium plastic. I happened to find an Underworld, and I think this cost me, I took the tag off. This one cost me $3, but it's more of just the base plastic, Westside disc. And this one's a lot of fun. The difference in this one and the premium plastic is this one didn't take long to beat in. And this one does some weird stuff. Matter of fact, I can really kind of play some weird shots with this one. Occasionally it'll go the way I want it to, and occasionally it does weird stuff, but sometimes that weird stuff is, it might not be good, but it looks cool. But that's really cool. But this was the same as that one premium one. And then in another one I got was the, it's kind of worn off here, 75-2-1 is the Rhythm. And I was really surprised. It's -2-1. It's a -2 turn and a 1 fade. I actually thought this would be a harder fade, because a lot of the times I've had a -2 and with a 1, it goes straight to hyzer on me. This one actually turns up for me and rides a little bit. I don't necessarily get the turn, but I'll get the hyzer and it'll go. This one actually is what's in my bag instead of the Buzz now. This one's actually the one that's in my bag that I upshot around trees, or if I need a couple 100 feet going around trees on a tee shot. I use this now, so this works out really good. Really like this. It's got a great skip to it. It's not overpowering skip. It's a really nice skip. I would like to try it in a different plastic. I'd like to get a new one and see what the new one's like. I'm not 100% sold on the Fizzin', but maybe I just don't know it enough yet. But this is a good disc. I think that's all I got that one day. Now my wife and grandkids bought a bunch, and I use them in my practice bag, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. All right, so then I went about a week or so without buying any discs, which is odd for me. But I think on the North Dallas, I think I spent around $75. So now what have we got? About $200 in for about 5 weeks of disc golf. Last Thursday, I went to play with some friends. This is a really cool thing about talking with people. I had some friends we didn't even know played disc golf, and then they said, "Oh yeah, we'll go play." So on actually the 4th of July, we went out to Gateway and played disc golf. Well, the cool thing is I had my, and I'll put my little pixels in here. I had my little bag with me with my 7 or 8 disc in it. And I walked out there and they said, "Oh, hey, we brought you something." And they brought me this, they had it in their garage and they brought me this little, I think it's a Trooper, really neat little bag. So I thought this was pretty cool. It's even got my league tag on it. Started out at 37, I'm up to 32. That's not bad. I actually went up to 31 and actually finished higher on this last league one, but not all the tag people were there, so I actually dropped the tag. Just depends on who's there. But I got this neat little bag. The nice thing is it has water in it, which was real handy. This past weekend we played all weekend, the Saturday and Sunday, and it was 100 degrees with 110 feel-like temperature. And so I had, matter of fact, it was nice because I had enough room in here to put extra bottles because I didn't want to bring tons of, I wanted to kind of keep it with this idea where I didn't have 30 disc in here. I just had about 10 or 11 disc in here, and I could put extra water bottles. So it actually worked out good. Again, this, I need to come up with some kind of system where this has a water bottle holder on it or something. Just not enough room for that stuff. So I got that. And then that was Thursday. So Saturday, I thought, man, I'm going to run out to the store. I wanted to buy like a Detour or, you know, try some of those. I know the Detour is not very understable, but it's got some understability to it. I just want to try. I don't want to have everything in my bag understable. I want to be able to learn how to throw some of the hyzers and stuff with a little bit more, have a little more fade. So I was just looking at different discs, and I knew like the Virus is understable. I knew the Orbital was understable. Well, when I got out there, I realized that they had buy 2 used disc, get 1 free. So I found a Diamond, which is 8.6 -3.1. And then I found a Heat, and I was trying to remember what the Heat numbers are. Oh, it's on the back. 9.6 -3.1. So now we're more back in that 9, just like the Jade. And this has got a similar -3.1, and the Diamond's a -3.1. And then I got an Insanity because I got it free and thought I would try it. It was a 9.5 -2 1.5. And then the brand new one I bought. So I got about $20 there, and then the brand new one I bought, it wasn't that expensive. It was $20, but I got the Orbital. I'd been doing a lot of field work and getting up into the consistent 270, 260 with my drives, and my arm speed feel like gotten a little faster. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and try the Orbital. It's 11.5 -4.51. So I got these last Saturday. So I spent another, dogs are barking. So I spent another, I think this was, let's see, 20. So I spent another $40. So what is that, 240 now roughly? So we got about 240 in. Great disc. This gave me a little bit more speed. Trying to work on a little bit more distance. Again, I'm not hung up on distance, but I just wanted something that I could just try out and see if my arm speed was catching up with it. Insanity? It says a -2 1.5. I get it. I can't get this one to turn up. So I can get it on a hyzer. It's not a hard dive for me, not a hard fade, but it's just a slow fade and it'll skip on me pretty good. It's not in my bag on a league play or tournament play. Not yet, just because I'm still learning it. Heat, 9.6 -3.1. The Heat, man, I can get some good distance on it. I can get it to flip up and ride good, and then it's got a slow fade on it. Haven't thrown it much. Don't throw it in the leagues yet and everything because I've been working on it more in the field. Finally starting to get it dialed into where I want it to go instead of going where it wants to go. The only odd thing is this Diamond, again, is a 8.6 -3.1. This is a 9.6 -3.1. I can throw this about 20 feet more than the Heat. sometimes even 30 feet more than heat. The nice thing on this one, man, is I can get it up flat, and man, this thing will hold it. I'll get a slight fade sometimes, or a slight turn, and then a little bit of a fade, depending on how I throw it. But yeah, it's amazing where the numbers are almost exactly the same, except this is an 8-speed, this is a 9-speed, and I can throw this one. I don't know if it's just because, I think it is lighter. I don't remember the weight on this one, I don't see it, but I do want to say this weight was low 170s or high 160s. So this is a little bit higher, some lighter, so maybe it does work for me. That I'm still learning some of that stuff, but man, this disc is really got good. And the orbital, wow, I was totally impressed. This is my furthest throwing disc. Let's see, I can get this orbital up to flat, and sometimes I can get it up to flat and it'll hold it. Man, it's pretty. It's I didn't think I'd be able to do the 11, and I don't even know if I'm actually getting the full potential, because I don't know if my arm speed's really at 11, because everything I've been throwing is max 9 and mostly 7 or below. But now there has been a few times where, man, I got this thing up to flat and it just slowly faded. Just a nice slow fade, probably 20-30 foot slow fade, and then just a nice soft landing. Not too big of a skip, but man, I've really been impressed. There's something about, and even the West Side disc, I like the feel in these Axiom and MVP. Just something about the feel. I just feel like, wow, it just works for me. The diamond actually feels good for me. If the diamond was zigzag but had a little more feel like the MVP, it'd be one of my favorite discs. And it still is one of my favorite discs. But it just has a little bit more different feel to it. And it might be the plastic. Maybe if I go a different plastic or something. So that's something to look at. But I really thought this would be more flippy, and maybe it's because I'm a beginner, being that it's a negative 4.5 with a 1 fade. I'm sure as I progress, it's going to get really understable on me, or if it beats in, it's probably going to be a little more understable. I'd be curious. I've only had it for a week, and I've done 3 or 4 field practices, but I haven't put it on Annie. I'd like to see if I can put it on an Annie and get it to hold and just slowly turn on me. So that'd be something fun. But that's kind of what's in my bag. Let's say I was filling up one of my league bags. What I would probably have in there now, I definitely have my 2 pixels. You gotta have my putters. Sometimes I'll throw the 3rd pixel in. Have my 3rd pixel in, but I like the Mako for soft up shots with hyzer on it. Buzz, I like just to crank it out on a hyzer if I need to go around a tree. Again, I'm just learning my disc, so I don't get too caught up in the numbers, but I know what it does, and if I can hyzer this up around a tree, and I know for some people it's a nice straight flyer, but for me it's not. But I can get a good hyzer on it around a tree or something. Still not a whole lot of skip. And then I don't use this quite as much as I used to, because when I first started, I trusted it. Now I don't really necessarily trust it sometimes, because if I give it too much power, it just turns and just does what it's supposed to. I mean, a negative 4, I'm not blaming the disc, but if I give it too much power, it just straight turns on me. Now, it doesn't go straight to the ground. It'll glide. Man, that thing, if I'm on a football field and I'm standing in the middle and I put too much power on this thing, it'll float all the way to the sideline and then push and then just land right by the sideline. So it's pretty cool. It's an awesome disc. And if I want an up shot and I can get it a little bit of hyzer and get it up to lay flat, man, this thing just drops. And it just, no bounce, no skip. It just drops. So I really like that one. Again, for some speed and power, I'd like to try to work on, again, some more mid-ranges, because I'm not really into the driver thing, especially a lot of the courses I play. There's one course that, the fairways and the drivers help me. I'd like to work a little bit more on mid-range, like to look at, maybe y'all have some suggestions. Might like to look at the Crave, some other stuff, or even some throwing putters. I'd like to, the Pixel's a good throwing putter. It's good and straight. it's not as comfortable in my hand as a throwing putter, and I don't know if it's because it's in my head that I putt with it and it feels great putting. I don't know if it's just in my head that, hey, this is my putter and I'm trying to throw it. So that's something. But I got the 7-speed, the Underworld I would do in a league play. The Diamond's an 8. I would do that in league play. Don't throw the Jade as much, but I have it in there because for me it's my third furthest disc I can throw, and I can get some good turn up on it. I have to be careful because it will flip over on me. And then the relay or the Rhythm at 7.5. I've learned to put it on a little bit of ante, and I can get that fade back, which is really cool. I've thrown it a few times at the basket just for fun. I actually got an 85-foot putt on this one. For some reason, I did 7 up shots and I only had 3 putters. That was kind of stupid. So I took this and threw it as one of my putters and actually threw it in. But I did that little ante to fade, and it was really cool. And then my orbital. Those are the main ones, guys. Hey, sorry to talk your ear off. It's just a lot of fun. If you got any questions for me, or if you got any suggestions on disc, now again, those are the discs that work for me. Those are the discs I've learned. I will show you. I do have a 4th bag. This is my 4th bag. This is my practice bag, and I got these are some of the discs that my wife got for my grandkids and stuff. I actually used to practice with these all the time. Like here's some, I can't even tell you what they are. I used to practice with these more often. I don't anymore because I've been honing in on what I have now, just trying to get better at what I have. I have this force. Funny thing is about this force, I've thrown it like 10 times, and all 10 times, this thing goes like 50 feet and straight to the ground. And I can't even get it to roll. I can't even get it to skip. I can't even get it to bounce. It goes straight to the ground. If the ground was soft, this thing would stick straight up and down every time. So I don't throw that one. This one my son got because he looked cool. It's kind of an overstable as far as I know. It says 0-0, so it'd be neutral, but yeah, it doesn't fly very good for me. And then this one, I guess one of my grandkids or my wife got a hold of it, so they painted a cat on it. I think that's a Deputy. Looks kind of like a Deputy. And then this Mad Cat, it says it's a 9502. I have fun with this one. This is one of those ones I throw at the basket, put it on an ante, and watch it do one of these things and scoop towards the basket. But again, I can only throw this about 50 or 60 feet. If not, it goes straight to the ground. So I don't know if it's just that beat in, but this is my little practice bag. Another one of those bags I just got from my house. Like I did field work this morning. I'll go do field work in the morning on a big football field. I take this bag out there with me, and actually I haven't been, be honest with you, I haven't been taking that bag lately. I just take what I've normally been throwing and just working on that. Guys, sorry man, I've rambled on probably way longer than y'all wanted to see, but that's just some of the things I got. If you got any suggestions, you got any more ideas on maybe discs I could try out. The cool thing is I haven't got crazy with it. The one thing I do want to do is learn my disc. Are the numbers spot on for me? No, because I'm new and my form's not there, but I'm having fun with it. Staying a little more understable. I have to be careful because almost everything in my bag's got some kind of understable to it. So I'm getting to the point where some of my form's coming around, so some of the understable are starting to turn on me a little bit, get a little more flippy. So I have to watch that and progress as I go. Looking at different discs. That's why I kind of wanted to look at some detours and some craves and little things like. And it doesn't have to be all MVP or Axiom. Those are just comfortable to me. I like them. But I'll try some other ones too. I threw somebody's lobster one day, and oh my god, that thing went straight for me. I think that's got a same negative number to it, understable. But hey guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments and all the tips and tricks I've been getting. Man, it's been great. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for sticking through my rambling. And if you, like I said, you got any questions, comments, leave them down there. I love answering comments and everything. But guys, I'm going to let you go. And like I always say, make a great day.